This week on The Land Doctors, we learned that you don't have to go very far to find an expert. In fact, we only go about 2 miles to visit with Ronnie Ward as he shows us one of the best built homes I've ever seen. And then we travel about 10 miles to the east to Gertie, Oklahoma, where our friends and family, the Hardens, are trying their hand at operating a new winery.
This program is sponsored in part by the Oklahoma Energy Resources Board. The OERB is voluntarily funded by Oklahoma's oil and natural gas producers and royalty owners, and their funds are being used for well site restoration and student education all across the state. Since 1993, the OERB has restored more than 13,000 orphaned and abandoned well sites at no cost to landowners or taxpayers, employing Oklahoma contractors all along the way. The OERB is proud to serve the state of Oklahoma.
I need the Oklahoma wind to run open through my veins. I need the Indian grass to cut right through these long and lonesome days homeward bound. I'm homeward bound. I hear the scissor tail calling me from the redbud trees. I hear the top water roar in the still of the day as the bass enjoy their feast homeward bound. I'm homeward bound. Whoa.
Welcome to this week's episode of The Land Doctors. I'm Kelly Hurt.
And I'm Ron Ward, and this is my wife Sherry, and welcome to the barndominium.
That's an interesting looking house you got.
Well, we think so, but we decided to do something a little bit different.
Well, let's check it out.
All right.
So let's start with the outside here. What's the outside with the skin of this thing, Ron?
This is a Galvalume product,
Yep.
26 gauge, which it will withstand a lot of weather and, of course, very low maintenance. And on the inside, as you'll see when we go in, the whole structure was sprayed with closed cell 2-pound foam.
Yeah, that's an insulation.
That's an insulation, but it also has structural strength
Okay.
to it, and really makes the metal even stronger. Of course, the big thing is the low maintenance, and that's what we wanted. Come on inside and we'll show you around.
Okay. Wow. Look at that.
So that's the reaction that we wanted. When we started this, Sherry said that, you know, I'm not really crazy about the metal building to start with on the outside, but when you walk in the door, I want to say, wow.
Wow. Because I didn't expect to see this inside the metal building. I mean, I get the metal building, no termites, no fire issues, no painting, nothing. I mean, you're basically done.
And, you know, you get a break on your insurance too with the 26 gauge metal.
Because of hail damage?
Hail damage.
Yeah, that's the #1 claim in Oklahoma.
And our installation guys did a great job of, you know, basically not fulfilling it pretty close. So the R value's on up there.
Well, yeah. It's super quiet in here.
It is. One thing that we've noticed, you know, and you can go out into the shop garage area because it's only the 2-pound foam out there. And during a rainstorm, it's pretty loud out there.
Yeah.
Or, you know, and we've even been here when we've got a little bit of hail and it gets pretty loud. In here, you can't even hear it rain. Now, upstairs, you can hear it just a little bit, but it's quite a bit of sound dampening, you know, because of the foam.
Well, the thing that surprises me coming in here, I mean, the outside is metal.
Right.
And so you've got this notion that, okay, I'm walking into a barn. You called it a barndominium.
Yes.
And so I'm expecting to just see concrete floors and, you know, some
And
sheetrock.
we kind of kick that back and forth. A lot of people are doing the stained floors these days. But
Yeah.
we found this product, and this is basically a tile product that looks like wood.
So this is ceramic tile?
No, this is porcelain tile.
Porcelain tile.
It's a little bit harder than ceramic. You don't have to worry about, you know, if you do chip it, you don't see the red clay. You know, the color goes all the way through it. Of course, the wood in here, you know, we decided to do the wood ceiling, the wood wall, of course the wood banister, and it's a little bit unique. Our cabinet guy and trim guy, he did a great job on that. And all of the cabinetry and stuff is knotty alder. This up here is all eastern white pine.
That's really neat. Well, let's look around a little more and let's go check out the kitchen.
Okay.
So Ronnie, one of the things that I noticed that y'all did was you incorporated some really new technology with some really old technology. And the place where that jumped out to me the most is this old wheel above the center island here. Tell me about that.
Well, that's an old wheel that we found at a garage sale probably 10, 15 years ago. And we had never done anything with it.
Yeah.
And as our design kind of evolved on the barndominium, we actually started out with a triangular island.
Yeah.
And after we laid it out, we really didn't like it, didn't think it was enough workspace. And so then we decided to go with round. And the minute we decided to go with a round island, that's when this come into play.
Yeah.
But I took it and I had it sandblasted and powder coated. And then we decided to, when we were doing the electrical, to run a LED low voltage circuit to it. And I thought, well, you know, that would look good if I could get some of those LED tape lights up inside of it. And so that's how that come about. They're real easy to work with. You know, the LED technology's come a long way. So
it's a lot less expensive than it used to be too.
Yes, when they first come out, they were pretty expensive. And the bulbs, the LED bulbs, everything in this kitchen, all of these can light bulbs that you see in this area right in here are LED also.
Yeah. Well, you know, it'd be a shame to build a house that was so energy efficient and then stick the old-fashioned bulbs in them, which all they do is throw off heat.
Yes, we've seen that in the past. I have actually seen some energy audits done on homes that were high-efficiency homes early on before they come out with the LED and the CFL, where the lighting in the house was actually pulling more amperage than the HVAC unit.
But I love the attention to detail, like painting the return vent brown,
yes,
camouflaging it to make it look like the ceiling.
Yes, I'm still being scolded because my speaker covers aren't painted yet, but
well, you'll get them done, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But the house is beautiful. I love the house, and
we love it, and you know, we've not been here but just about a month right now, and everything. And of course, this is Sherry and I's design. I mean, you know, I had some help from one guy that made some suggestions on the design and stuff, but everything is really laid out conveniently for us. And we also were looking down the road. You know, we're not getting any younger.
Yeah.
Every door in this home is 36-inch, a 3-foot door.
Wheelchair width.
You know, hopefully neither one of us will have to get there, but if we are, you know, then we can accommodate that. Of course, the upstairs, that's one of the reasons that we put it on a separate HVAC unit. I actually have what they call a system door at the top of the stairway. It's a sealed door, weather stripped. I can lock it, shut it up, turn it off, and you know, if we don't have to get up there, we don't have to.
Just leave it. Just isolate that and
right.
Let it be an unair conditioned, unheated space.
Right.
Interesting. So it's almost like two houses in one in the way that they're isolated from one
really
another.
Is, and we did the upstairs. Sherry, you know, really, she likes to sew and quilt a lot, and that's mainly what that room is up there. It's also, when you see it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. It's also, we call it the grandkids' dormitory.
Yeah.
Because we have just a big open space up there. We do have a guest bedroom upstairs and a bath upstairs, but it's mainly for her sewing room and quilting room and then grandkids' playroom.
So they can come out to the South 40.
I can also lock the doors up there too.
And lock them in. But they can come here and spend the weekend or a week or whatever, and they've got plenty of room, and
Yes.
they can hang out and have a good time with you.
Yeah, but we have a hard time on most of them keeping them inside anyway. You know, once they get down here, most
They
of
want
them
to be out.
they want to be outside because most of them live up in that metro area.
Yeah.
And you know, they like coming down to Mimi and Papa's and playing in the woods.
Yeah, jump in the water.
Oh, you bet.
I still do that. It's fun. Well, let's take a look at. I want to go upstairs.
Okay.
And I want to look where we in the room, the utility room, where we can see the insulation and.
Okay.
And I want to see how thick it is. All right, Ronnie. I feel like I'm inside a marshmallow here.
Well, this is what you're seeing right now. Is you're seeing the open cell foam
Yeah.
on the roof deck up in the second story of the barndominium.
Yeah.
And this is a pretty good indication of how thick it is right
Wow.
there in that one spot. Now it gets a little thinner in between the main beams and stuff, but you know what I'm running into, that goes through the soft foam, the open cell foam pretty easy, but then you hit the hard foam.
Yeah.
And you kind of have to push it. There's another 1.5 to 2 inches of it behind this.
So that much. So
Yeah,
8 inches
right.
of insulation. I
Yeah.
feel bad about you poking those holes in there now. I feel like
Yeah.
we've got to seal them up or something.
No, they're fine. But you know, the hard foam, the 2-pound foam is hard to penetrate it, you know, unless you got a knife or something like that. It's pretty, and like I said before, it has its own structural strength.
That's what makes that sheet iron on the outside so
Yes.
stiff, is it's holding it.
But one of the nice things, you know, about this mechanical room that we did up here, you know, and of course this is the unit for the upstairs and that's the unit for the downstairs.
Right.
And we pulled this one wall in upstairs about 4 foot so we'd have enough room for the ductwork to go in between floors for
Yeah.
downstairs. Well, when we did it, we ended up with some extra storage space.
Yeah.
You know, pretty good storage area that my wife's done got filled up almost, looks like.
Sherry knows no end to
No,
stuff, does she?
no. Well, when you've been married 43 years, you accumulate some stuff.
Stuff, yeah. Now this is,
One of the you know, technical things that we had to do a little bit different in here, you know, to get your cell phone to work right, you know, because a metal building pretty much kills that signal from the
Yeah.
outside, is actually we put a cell phone booster and there's an external antenna and this is the unit that runs it.
yeah.
And so that's the reason you can get 3 or 4 bars inside this metal building. Normally you couldn't get anything.
That's pretty neat. I like it a lot.
So.
And you've even got a little air vent in here to keep this decently
Yes,
cool or
they
warm.
recommend that, and of course this is the fresh air vent that goes back outside, and it goes out on the side wall. It has a filter on the outside that I'll have to change out about once a year.
So you're not sucking in pollen
Right.
and all that stuff.
Correct, because actually what it does, it dumps it back into the return on a mechanical basis. I mean, it's got a timer. It's called a fan cycler.
Yeah.
That runs basically 7 minutes every hour. During that 7-minute cycle, 3.5 minutes of it, this fresh air damper is open at 30%.
Yeah.
We don't want it open all the time,
Right.
you know, to bring in all the outside air because that's kind of defeating the purpose.
Right. Yeah.
But we also put a vent up basically in this attic area, a supply up in this attic area, so that you know you don't have any difference in temperature in here than what you do back in the living area.
So really, the only place in this house that's not heated and cooled is the garage.
Correct.
All this other stuff, you're insulated out
We're
against
in
the very outside
Yes.
structural part of this house.
Yes, we made basically a cocoon or envelope
Yeah.
on this in the living part of the house, and you know within this envelope, you know that's where all of the conditioned space is.
It feels like a cocoon in here. It does. It's so quiet.
Yeah, and of course you know again there's the sound bats I was talking about too. Those blue jean ground up blue jean, basically denim product, but it does it does a better job of sound dampening than even the foam does. you know, in between rooms especially.
So if Christina kicks me out, can I come live here with you?
Sure.
Cool. Okay. No worries for me now. Thanks for having us.
You're welcome. It's nice to have you.
So tell me, why did y'all decide that how did you decide that you wanted to have a winery?
A hobby to begin with. We started out just making wine as a hobby and giving it to family and friends, and everybody liked it, and it just grew until we finally decided to make it a business.
You decided, hey, we want to make a business out of this.
We want to make a business out of it, yeah.
Well, what was the next step once you decided to go for it?
Planting the vineyard.
And what did you plant out there?
Muscadines.
Oh, really?
We have red and white muscadines.
Now, that's not something that I normally see growing wild here in this part of Oklahoma. Are they hard to grow, or they grow?
No. They're hardier than most grapes. You don't have to worry about the black mold with muscadines. They're hardier as far as in the wintertime.
Yeah.
This is the pruning season when we're having to try to get them all pruned. So we've got about half of that done. But no, just as long as you have enough water.
So that's the big thing, is water. Drip irrigation?
Drip irrigation. And we can water out of the pond or from the rural water system.
Now I noticed, you know, when you see them in the wild, they're always growing out in the woods and up into trees. Do y'all have to trellis them to keep them up?
Yes. Yeah, he did all that. He did the trellises, and you send them down the rail, the wire 10 foot each way, and keep them trimmed. And you have one stalk that comes up and then splits and goes both ways. It takes probably 3 years before they really have good production. The first year you don't have much, and depending on the age of your plants is how fast they're going to grow up and go down the trellis. You go 10 foot each way.
Now,
for
people not familiar with muscadines, they don't look like grapes in that they form big bunches.
There's a small cluster, but it's not a big cluster like Concord or something like that.
Right.
It's a smaller cluster, and there's several all over the vines.
Now, when do they start to bud out in the spring?
It's usually...
They quit budding right now.
Yeah, they're starting to have some buds on them now.
Mid-March?
Mid-March, 1st of April. And then you pick in the fall. It's late September, 1st of October when we're picking.
After you pick in late September, early October, then what do you do with them? What do you do with the muscadines at that point?
Depending on how many we have and how much the two of us can do at the time, we freeze them.
Yeah.
And then we have a crusher destemmer that we run them through, and then a press, and then start the wine.
So why don't y'all show us sort of how you make wine back there?
This is what you want it to come up like this.
Yeah.
And one stalk, and it going 2 different ways. And if there's something that's coming out down here like this, you can take it and put it in the ground, and this is how we grow some new ones.
Okay.
Is we put that in the ground, and then we'll dig that up and transplant it to another spot that maybe one died.
Yeah. How often do they die?
Not very often.
So they're tough dudes.
They're pretty tough.
So a little rebar, a few posts, a couple strands of wire, a little bit of drip irrigation.
Drip irrigation.
And that's it.
Yeah, that's it. And there's a younger one down here that's one of our transplants. So this is one of the younger ones that we're working to get
to go both ways.
To go both ways,
Are muscadines like grapes? Grapes don't like wet feet.
Probably not.
Muscadines like wet feet.
No, they like it. They don't like their feet being wet.
Oh, they don't?
No. It needs to be a soil that drains good, and our soil out here is sandy, so it drains good. And we thought at first that, you could not let the grass grow in the middles, but it has a tendency to want to wash if if you have a heavy rain.
Yeah.
So you have to let the grass go ahead and grow up in the middles. And
Are you tempted just to eat the muscadines raw? They're so good.
you do when you're picking. You eat a lot. Yeah.
Okay. So that's okay to
That's
eat?
okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I
kinda
might come out and pick.
It's kind of like shelling pecans.
Yeah.
You know, you sit there and you eat a lot while you're. So you do the muscadines too.
Same way.
And you kind of do a taste test as far as knowing when they're ready.
Yeah.
You come out and taste some of them, and if they're tasting good and nice and sweet, then, and you go by the color too.
Yeah.
To know when they're ready to pick, but a lot of it's a taste test.
That's a tough job there.
It is. It is. Yeah, we might have to hire some tasters to just come out.
I think Christina's available.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think maybe so. Her and the kids.
Yeah, they put a resume in with you
Yeah.
if you want to try them out. All right.
But
this looks great.
Eventually, we're gonna go on back this way
Yeah.
and add more, and then below the house.
You got 240 acres.
Yeah.
Just keep pushing him back. Just take everything in as a vineyard.
His vineyard.
Yeah. Just keep going. Then find you some labor, because that's going to be a lot of muscadines.
It's gonna be a lot to pick, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, maybe those grandkids will be through with their ball games by then, and
They
you
can
hire
pick.
them to come pick.
Yeah. Yeah. Teach them how to make alcohol.
Yeah.
That's a good grandma.
That is, isn't it? That is. Teach them to be winemakers.
Throughout this season, we've been showing Oklahomans and their do-it-yourself projects. And although we want to encourage you to do things yourselves and try new things, we also want to encourage you and remind you to be careful. Now, we've all sat through boring safety films, but in this week's Lagniappe, my friend George and I tried to make a safety film that won't put you to sleep. Do you have an Oklahoma property that you'd like some help with or that you'd like to see on our show? Drop us a line at landdoctors.com or our Facebook page. You never know, you might get to show off your land doctoring skills.
I need the Oklahoma wind to run open through my veins. I need the Indian grass to cut right through these long and lonesome days homeward bound. I'm homeward bound. I hear the scissor tail calling me from the redbud trees. I hear the top water roar in the still of the day as the bass enjoy their feast homeward bound. I'm homeward bound. Whoa, I recognize that front porch light from a mile away. Whoa, this is a place that for all my life I have longed to stay, where I want to stay.
Hey, what you doing?
Hey, George. Oh, I need to get up higher where I can cut those limbs off. They're starting to get in this power line. You mind helping me?
I'll help you.
Okay. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lift you up on those forks, and I'll just ease you up there, and then you can trim them off for me. That work?
That'll work.
Okay, here you go. All right, George, cut it off.
Well, I think your shaw's out of gas.
Oh, well, let me run get you some real quick.
Well, hey, Kelsey, how you doing? No, don't get on that tractor. Don't get on, no, don't touch that, no, no! Hey, Kelly, what you doing?
Oh, I'm thinking about taking the tractor and picking this brush hog up so I can work on the blades.
Oh, yeah? Well, you gonna block it up or anything?
No, I'm just
Make
gonna use the lift to hold it up.
Well, what about your wife and kids when that thing falls on you?
Oh, I got plenty of life insurance.
Oh, really?
All right, George, pick it up. All right, hold it right there.
Hey, man, you need to watch where you put your feet.
Why?
Well, you don't want to get them cut off.
Well, it's not gonna fall.
All right. You ready for me to let her down yet?
No.
All right, then.
Oh! Oh, pick it up!
Hey, you said go.
I said no! No! George, hold it. What are you doing?
I'm just trying to start my tractor.
Well, you need to get in that seat, man.
Nah, I do this all the time.
That thing will run over you. People get killed every year doing that.
Well, it ain't happened yet.
Yeah, but you got a family to think about, man.
I know. Well, I guess you're right.
Yeah, I am right. Bad, George, bad!
This program is sponsored in part by the Oklahoma Energy Resources Board. The OERB is voluntarily funded by Oklahoma's oil and natural gas producers and royalty owners, and their funds are being used for well site restoration and student education all across the state. Since 1993, the OERB has restored more than 13,000 orphaned and abandoned well sites at no cost to landowners or taxpayers, employing Oklahoma contractors all along the way. The OERB is proud to serve the state of Oklahoma.
Daddy, where did those come from?
Well, let me tell you.
Great Plains Kubota, your Oklahoma Kubota dealer and proud sponsor of the Land Doctors. Kubota, for Earth, for life. This program is sponsored and produced by the Land Doctors Management Group. We all know that Oklahomans belong to the land, but even the best of us need a little help from time to time. If you've got a spot of land that you love but would like to make it even better, we're here to help. Whether it's wildlife, water management, natural resources management, environmental cleanup, or even real estate development, these doctors are always on call.
I love the smell of fresh dirt in the morning. It smells like victory.